Hello guys, welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Just quickly, got the school van back in again, had the injector done, it's running absolutely spot on there now, and it's just going for MOT. I was going to take this across and MOT it, but I've got a few jobs to get on with, so yeah, injector done, running like a dream again, but they're out of pocket, because I know the cost of fortune the injectors on them 1600 diesels. Right, what's in? What we got? Right, the Audi. Took it out last night again. Managed to force a regen on it on the road. DPF lights gone off. All the engine warning lights back off. Up to full power. Happy days. But the brakes on it, with it being standing, are not the best. So, while I was out at speed, when I did my turnaround, I stopped and the rear left caliper was binding, which I know fine well, it's the same as my Altea. So I've got a rear caliper and rear pads to fit. But the other side is brand spanking new, so we'll assess what that's like as well. It should be okay, but that was done not long ago. But there's an alarming knocking noise on the front. I personally think, this is my guess, but I wouldn't like to be 100%. I personally think the lining has come loose on one of the pads at the front. You'd think somebody was knocking on the floor with a hammer at times. It'll go on, it'll come off. It doesn't shake when you brake at speed, but the pedal is spongy. That's another sign. It could be that dodgy caliper on the back, but I have a feeling, I can't be 100% until I strip it down, that we've got a bit of an issue with a pad line and come off on the front. The discs aren't the best, but this bill is getting quite expensive now, as you've seen. Glow plugs, pressure sensor, cleaners, time I've spent on it, rear caliper, rear pads. I think it's not my way of work, guys. You all know that I like to do things right. But even though the discs are pretty naffed on the front of this Audi, I think if we go adding discs and pads, rear caliper, rear pads, DPF pressure sensor, DPF cleaner, glow plugs, it's getting quite a bit now. I think we're going to be stepping that line where the guy just said, spend whatever, do whatever. I think we're stepping that line where I don't like to be in, where I've already told them I'm not 100% with this regen and carry on. I still think there's underlying. Sometimes when you start it up, it misfires. I don't know. I'm just not 100% convinced with this one that it's going to be end of story. I think a few weeks' time, it may be back with the DPF light on. Yeah, we can get on top of the brakes. The brakes are no bother, but it's costing a lot of money for a car that's not really worth a lot of money, and it's not in the best of conditions either. So that's the Audi. When I get this Kia sorted, that's coming onto this lift, and it's going to stop up on that lift, and we're just going to crack on with it because I've got no time limit with the car. The guy's not in any hurry. May do a quick snippet. Mercedes is going to its bed. Up over to the garage, which I hope you enjoyed my video on it. Got the car cover to put on. Disconnect the battery. I've got the pollen filter assembly out above the battery because you can't get to the battery otherwise. I've took the child seat off the front seat. I don't use it because I'm only using one car at the minute, but I don't want to leave a pressure mark on the seat. But that's the pollen filter assembly that sits on top of the battery. I've just took that off so you can get the battery disconnected. That's the car cover I've got. I was wondering what size that one is, extra large. And I was up in the loft last night. Yes, getting Christmas stuff down. Not me, Holly. I think it's far too early, but I was up in the loft last night. I've got another one of these as a spare, but again, it's extra large, which I was going to put on the ML. It'll be probably far too big for the car, but hey ho, it's only for when it's in storage. Just for the cats or any kind of dust or whatever. But yeah, nicely putting that to bed for the winter, and I am over the moon with the offset of them back wheels now. Great. So that's that set. That's just ready to go. When my dad gives us a ring, probably in an hour, I'll meet him across there. It's going to take two. I've decided I'm going to reverse it into the garage because the battery naturally is under the bonnet. I want it at the front, near the front of the garage where the plug is. And I've worked it out. You've seen how close I've got to get the front end to the back wall. I don't think I'll be able to open up the bonnet. Where if the bonnet's facing forward when the doors are up, I'll be able to open the bonnet. So that's just my way. I'm going to have to do a bit of faffing about to try and line it up and all the rest of it. So that's that. Anyways, on to another car. Kia Sorento, one of the earlier ones. I really like these cars, guys. I'm going to do a little bit on my Facebook. If you don't already follow us on Facebook, please consider doing it. Car Addict Garage Northeast on Facebook. Hit the like or the join or whatever you do. And I'll do regular, just conversation starters. Like I've said, I did one on the Ford B-Max. Love or hate. I'm going to start doing love and hate. with a few different cars I get coming in. I'll give you my opinion on it. And I just think it's a nice little piece for discussion. I wish I could do that on YouTube. I wish YouTube had more of a social media side of things, like Facebook. Like, the chat facility's okay, but it's very rudimental. Like, you cannot, like, send any images on it. It's all public. There's no way of sending a private message via YouTube. I wish YouTube would set up, like, a YouTube chat facility or something. It would be a lot better to engage with a lot of you. A lot of me regular viewers who just simply do not bother with Facebook, and it's a shame. But I'm just saying to you guys, you don't have to join Facebook and be watching what your next door neighbour's having for their breakfast and all that rubbish people put on Facebook. You know, you can just join Facebook and don't have any friends on there, don't add anybody. So you're just basically a one-man band, so to speak, or woman, and you just simply use that to go on to looking on Marketplace. You like and subscribe to people's channels on Facebook, and all that'll ever come up on your page. Like, if you have thousands of friends and you open it up, you've got thousands of people putting rubbish on Facebook every day, which you just don't want to read. But what you can do is just open up an account. It's free to do so, and don't have any friends on there. And don't post anything. Don't do any posts. But what you can do is follow, not just me, other people or other interests that you have on there. Facebook's not as bad as what people make it. Facebook is as bad as, believe it or not, reverse what I'm saying, as what people do to make it. I.e., putting pictures of them on holiday and then the ex-partner starts on them and stuff like that. So yeah, there is things that people stupidly put on Facebook about their personal life, and you'll hear all the bad stories about it, but it's not really that bad if you don't actually add any friends on there, or you have a very, very small selection, or you just use Facebook as a platform like YouTube where you can follow progress of people's YouTube channels or whatever groups or interests you have. You just simply sign up to them. But anyways, enough waffle. That's just a little pointer to you guys out there who are absolutely, I don't deal with Facebook, I don't bother with it. I'd strongly suggest you do. You'll probably quite enjoy my Facebook thing. The only thing is, though, do not take that away from commenting on YouTube. I need the comments on YouTube to keep me very small allowance that I get. If we all went onto Facebook, I make no money from Facebook. All I'm saying is, if you want a little bit of one-to-one interaction with us, a bit easier and better, i.e. via Facebook, please consider it. But do not retract from hitting the like button and commenting on the videos on YouTube, because that's what keeps the channel going. This is the channel. Anyways, onto this car. Sorento. I'm going to take this in for MOT later on. I just want to do a love and hate. I want to take a picture of it outside when it's off the lift. Personally, one of my top 10 favourite cars, these. Joking aside, really is. Absolutely fantastic. Big, bulky vehicle. Very, very good tone weights. Not nowhere near as good as my ML, but I think they're about 2 ton, which is over 2 ton, I think it is. Let's have a look. I don't even know where the plate is on it. I shall have a look and get back to you before the end of this video anyway. But yeah, I think they're a very masculine, chunky, nice looking car. But what I will say, they're very manly looking. There's too many cars now look too feminine for me. They're just too, I'll wait for you all to say it, hairdresser car looking like that, whatever. But this to me looks like a nice, chunky, angular male car. I really do think it is nice. The newer Sorento, what my sister's husband has, yeah, I do think they're more of a basically universal looking car. But these are just a nice, big, chunky, you've got your kind of angles down here, all underneath where I like it to be. None of this is painted, so that if you do a bit of soft roading, you don't scratch it. All along the bottoms, black plastic, exactly where you want the black plastic to be, where all the road dirt and scratching, scraping, round the arches, right around here, all around the boot area where you get dogs in and out is all black. I could not have made that car better if I tried. That is thumbs up, 10 out of 10 to Kia. Absolutely fantastic, that is. All round the back end with the tow bar. You don't want these bits painted. You don't want it to be all painted. It's just such a good idea. But yet, when you move further up, chrome handles, tinted windows, nice roof bars, and have a look at that. 2012 car. It's nice plastic, not this cheap crap aluminium that they use, which just fades and looks awful and washed out. It's stood the test of time. Lovely. Has it got a sunroof? Let's climb up. Again, Nice and solid, you can climb up. No sunroof, no big deal, probably not worth having. And then, you know, you get around, nice massive mirrors for tone, great. LEDs in the mirrors, nice high quality ones. I'm talking to myself, I would have one of these. 4-wheel drive. On the lines of 4-wheel drive, it's a decent 4-wheel drive. Why? Because it's got hill descent, lock-in centre diff, obviously, just a centre diff. You know, I think there's a few other features down there. Heated seats, cruise control, no fancy big stupid touchscreen that will probably be miles out of date and rubbish. Normal radio, just lovely, absolutely lovely this is. Into the back, the higher spec ones of these actually have heated rear seats. I don't know how this isn't classed as the full top spec one. It must be the, what is it, the KX2, this. It's really good for what you would class not a top spec. There's hardly anything missing. So God knows what the KX3 must have. Maybe, like you say, a sunroof, heated rear seats. Rear ventilation, lovely. That's where I like it to be. Power outlet, nice, soft leather seats. High quality brushed stainless steel, and I tell you, that is cold. That is real stuff. Nice, just really nice. And one thing, which I haven't checked, are these 7-seaters? Yes, they are. Even better. Oh, guys, you're going to say I'm getting too excited about this car, but rear seats, 7-seater. Nice big boot. No ventilation, unfortunately. That comes maybe on the higher spec ones. Full-size dog cage thing in the back there. You know, nice grab handle. Do you know what it is? If prices weren't so stupid at the minute, I would happily buy one of these and have it as my, replace the ML. Great tour car, 7-seater, comfortable. I believe, don't quote us, the 2.2 diesel. I'd need to do a reg check. But these can be good for up to 200 brake horsepower. Cracking engine. Diffs and transfer boxes can be a bit iffy, but regularly change the fluids on them. No bother. Nice and easy to service. I just want to show you. Absolutely minging air filter. Absolutely filled with bugs. This car spends a lot of time over in France towing the caravan. So yeah, really nice car. There's another midweek review. I know it's on the lift. I'm going to get a few photos outside and stick it on Facebook, see what people's opinions of it are. For me, definitely a love, no hate at all. Even to the point of, a lot of people would like the car and go, I don't want a Kia, I don't want a Hyundai, it needs to be BMW or Mercedes or something. It's like, nah, this car's every bit better than any of those supposed premium makes. And that was what I like about this, is when Kia first started, well, not first started off, but not to the extent that are now. I think Kia and Hyundai now are becoming a little bit too cocksure of themselves, because they're pricing their vehicles at the same price as Mercedes, BMW, Audi, all that kind of stuff, and that's spoiling it a little bit. Cracking looking cars, the new range, all of them, all the Hyundais and Kias look amazing, and I'm not pulling them down, but unfortunately, what they were classed as now, then, when this car was getting made, 2012, they were proving themselves in the market. Now they've already proven themselves. The prices have just gone up, where these were classed as affordable. It's still a lot of money, but affordable then. Now that kind of already named themselves as a premium product, and you are like paying premium money. So that's my only downside. They have got to the point where they need to be, but they've priced themselves out the market, for my opinion. But these are the ones that you want, and these are the ones that you want to save. They're absolutely fantastic, and I would really like to try and find a low mileage, well looked after one of these. This one in particular, apart from towing the caravan might have helped it a bit, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on this, off this guy. And it spends a lot of time in the south of France as well, so underneath is in really good condition. So I'm just going to pause it now, and I'll show you underneath. Get a look under here, if I find the lamp, which my dad's moved, but it's in very, very good condition. The front subframe, really good. All these exposed bits, that's just normal, really good. Sills, like new. To the back, these back arms can rot, but even if they do rot, it's just 2 bolts, no big deal. But like really good. We've coated them obviously. Back subframe, good nick. No leaks on the diff. Plastic tank. Nice big exhaust system. Easily lets the engine breathe well. Stainless steel, never gonna rust properly. Nice big full-size spare wheel underneath where it needs to be. Nice simple suspension. Nice simple drivetrain. Just a little diff. It's not the class. There's no flipping top off-roader, but it's got good ground clearance. And you get a look. It's in good nick, this thing. I hope that if this guy does sell this, he would give me first refusal of it, because I would probably go for it if it wasn't silly money. Nice simple 2-bolt setup, normal shocker just like an Astra to fit. 2 bolts, spring shocker, drop link, no problem. Nice easy calipers, sensible sized discs. Nice simple 4-wheel drive system. That just 2-wheel drive, front wheel drive all the time until the 4-wheel drive's required. There's your transfer box and gearbox. Nothing overly complicated. Yeah, for me, guys, probably the best top 10 I've give for a long time of a car. Everything. There's nothing I don't like about it. There's not a single thing I would say I don't like about it. The 4-wheel drive system can be a little bit temperamental, but if it's been looked after and oil's changed, you haven't got too much to worry about. And even if you do, hey ho, you know, it's probably not any other problem any other car doesn't have anyway. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get on. It's had oil and filter, air filter, checked underneath, wax oiled. It's had all these new tyres fitted as well. I quite fancy some of these for mine. Uniroyal Rain Expert 5s with a proper rain tyre, shark skin technology. They look like quite a good tyre. I'm no tyre expert, but I see a lot of cars coming in with these, and they're meant to be really good for this country's weather. Rain. They're not a snow tyre, nothing like that, but they were a good all-round tyre, I think. Might try some on one of my own cars, to see how much they cost. Leave that there. When I get on with this one, we'll get the Audi on the lift, and when I strip that down or I find anything, I shall let you know. I've done more of a review than what I can on that. I did one on that B-Max. I'm not going to fill this week's vlog too much up with reviews, but please let us know your comments on the Sorento. If you like it, let us know. If you hate it, please be honest and just tell us. That's what the channel's here for discussion, so please leave a comment below. So I'll catch you probably later on when I've got the Audi sorted, maybe when I'm down at the garage putting the C-Class to sleep for the winter. This is my new phone. I've got to nip over and drop me old phone off at a drop-off point, because I've got £600 held on my credit card, which I'm not keen of. I want that sent back. And then the ML, the battery is there. I've still sat with it, haven't had time. I'm going to try and get over to Ashton tomorrow, stick the battery on the ML, and then start doing some deciding. Do I leave it there or do I bring it back home? Because once the C-Class is away, I only have the Caravan and the Altea and Holly's car at home. Holly's car's got a leak, it never parks on the drive, so that parks across the road. So really all that is on the driveway is the Caravan and the Altea. So I've got space for the ML in the middle. I'm quite keen on having that there. So if we get some very heavy wind and for some daft reason the Caravan somehow moves, it would probably hit into the ML rather than my house. Sounds really stupid. And also just a little bit better for protecting the Caravan, because I've got a wheel clamp on the wheel, and when the ML is practically touching the Caravan, it would be very difficult to get underneath there to cut it off. Not that anybody would probably want to nick my Caravan. And what else? Yeah, just generally keeping it started, running, moving. If the battery goes flat, it's at my door. I don't have to stand in someone's yard. It's just, I don't know. The only downside of it being at home is I may come back one day and some scumbags cut the cats off it, which is the main reason I've got it at the lockup, because it's safe. But it's just such a faff having to go, and if the battery goes flat, I've tried the charger on it, and then when the charger's on, he can't lock his side door because the cable's coming out. It's getting a bit annoying. It's okay a Caravan, but when it's a car, it's a bit more annoying. So I don't know. I'm going to have to decide what I do. But anyways, I'll come back to you soon, guys. Right, guys, bit of a late one, bit of an update. I've just been MOT'd that Kia Sorento. Obviously, as my previous video, you'll have heard, I'm quite fond of them cars, so I must say, they're on my radar. If anybody sees a Kia Sorento or a Hyundai Santa Fe, I think they're called, and it's a good one, preferably a one that one of you guys have owned, let us know. I may possibly be interested. That would probably be one of the very few cars that would tempt us away from me ML. But we'll see. It's something, I'm just saying, it is that good. And if you are looking for a 4-wheel drive, I'm not saying they're all that good. But yeah, happy days. It's through its MOT. That's a way back. Front discs and pads to rebook it in for before the end of winter. So that's that. Anyways, sick to death of this now. All week I've been trying to get this away into the garage. The second we're about to leave at 2 o'clock, it started lashing it down. So that means putting it away wet. They've been spreading salt on the roads, and I don't want that being transferred onto the car for it to stand in the garage all winter. So, retake tomorrow. The weather forecast looks okay. I may do an update when I'm there, when it's in and got the car cover over. So, it's another one, which is then also in turn delayed getting to the ML, because the time I'm going to have to spend tomorrow doing this in daylight hours, which is like 3 o'clock, it's dark, it'll probably be delayed getting the battery fitted to the ML to next week. Not that that's essential, but I don't really like it standing unturned over. Now it's been, I would say, way more than a month. I know you can let them stand a hell of a lot longer than that, but I do like to turn them over from time to time. So that's that. Holly's dad's just been in, bulb on a caddy, running light. I'm going to try and find him some LED ones, because he uses it a lot, and it's like every couple of months he's having to put new bulbs in it. Just need to check the fitment and the types, and whether or not the canvas right and doesn't set warning lights on his dashboard, which is the problem with modern cars. Saying that, modern cars, this 2002 Mercedes can tell you if it's got a left or right number plate light out. I found that quite interesting, how a 20-year-old car knows whether that, not just a number plate light, it can actually tell you which one. But then that becomes a nightmare for fitting aftermarket LED bulbs, unfortunately. Hence, this one's just getting left standard. The residents, I'm going to start charging it board shortly. We've found a few things with it. Obviously, the back discs are brand spankers. We fitted them not long ago, but we did advise that this rear left caliper to keep an eye on. So on fitting that. But these have a stupid idea with a brake pipe like this, you see. They have like a pre-made pipe that goes in, which goes through a bracket. They're a bit of a silly idea, but they've been like that for donkey's years. Now, this knocking noise on the front, when I've been away testing, when my dad took this wheel off, he said they were almost finger tight, the wheel bolts. So I'm hoping it's something as simple as that. But anyways, the front discs are absolutely knackered on it. And the guy said, just do it. So new front discs and pads going on. New rear caliper. And it's not the right way to do things, guys, but this car's done less than 100 mile, 200 mile. And as you can see, this side is brand spankers. You should always fit pads and discs in pairs, but them pads are brand spanking new. You can see the disc hasn't even got any rust on it or anything. So naturally, we're going to give him the spare set, just in case he needs it, if that caliper plays up. But obviously on this side, it'll be getting the new pads, because the other ones have kind of, as you can see, they're brand spankers, but they've getting themselves hot, so they are getting replaced. And you can only buy a box of 4 pads in there. So that's that. Somewhere around here, over there, is the new front discs and pads, so we'll get them put into place. I'll give you an update tomorrow when it's strapped them there. Hopefully this knocking noise is away. The DPF light's off, it's out of limp mode. The engine management and glow plug light's off. The brakes will be fine now, they'll not be binding. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's a little Audi in tomorrow, an A1S line. I'll show you a few things on that. The guy watches my channel. It's quite a nice one, actually. So I'll show you what's in for that. And that's it. I've got a few jobs on the Altea to do. Mass airflow sensor, original 2019 one. Swapping that out, because it'll probably be knackered with 170,000 mile. What else we got to do to it? Gearbox oil, I'm going to order some, because it's quite cheap, and I've already got a bottle of it on my desk. I've got a sump seal coming for the gearbox, where it's actually a whole unit, and the windscreen thing, but it's on back order. Piece of rubber is on back order. It's pathetic, really, but for exactly that, the windscreen. There's a few other little bits. Pollen filter I want to change, just along a carbon one, just because it's been taking in quite a lot of exhaust fumes into the carb when that exhaust was blown, so I just want a new one in. But bar that, that's it. But that Altea stuff will probably come next week, and some recoding to do when you fit the new sensor. I believe there's an option to reset the learned values of the mass airflow sensor. So that's it. I'll come back to you tomorrow and show you how far I've getting with the Audi and whatever else is booked in. And also, this old chap here, who's 9, he still doesn't learn his lesson. He's sitting shivering on the floor and he's got a nice bed. Come on, Harvey, in your bed. Go on. He's wanting to go home, getting his walk home, but he doesn't understand it's not home time. Come on, in the office. Come on. Nah, he's having none of it. But they're dogs for you, isn't it? He's got a nice warm bed, office, but nah, soon I lie on the freezing cold concrete floor. See, actually, I've a blanket out here. Dirty at that, like, but come on, you gonna sit on? See if he will. You going on your bed? There, lie down, yeah? Yeah? Nah, he's not. Is he listening? Sit. Sit. There. And by the way, Hunter, it's his day off today, in case you're wondering where he is. So Harvey gets some peace. He's had a lovely, relaxing day to himself without being pestered by your 1-year-old puppy. So that's happy day. I know a lot of you are dog lovers. I try to keep them on the channel as much as I can. But yeah, turn of the year, he'll be upcoming 10. He's a good dog, I tell you, this one. A very good dog. He used to love being in the back of the Astra. I don't know why we've stopped using. I think it's with the puppy for keeping an eye on him, but he used to love lying in the back of there. So anyways, catch you on tomorrow's vlog. Hello guys, welcome back to Friday's vlog. And a beautiful day compared to yesterday. In fact, we're getting blinded by the sun, but most certainly not complaining at this. It's been, I must say that the majority of this week's been awful. Hasn't been freezing cold by any means, way above the average temperatures, but it's been a shock to the system, put it that way. And hopefully, if it stays dry for more than 30 seconds, I can get the Mercedes tucked to storage, which I've attempted pretty much all week. So fingers crossed, the forecast looks good today. That'll be away. I might not do that in this weekly vlog. I might do it as a separate little short vlog of storing it away. We'll see how things pan out, because there's a few things that need done first. So, what I'm saying little, it's a Renault Traffic, but it is the little one, and I've already told you how you know if that long or short wheelbase. Short wheelbase basically has nothing here, just a piece of wheel arch. The long wheelbase ones, they don't do a medium, as far as I know, on the new ones at least. They'll have a big section about this big here, and then the back end, so that's the best way. And it's easier to tell on the other side, actually, where the door is. If your back door comes right up to the wheel arch, you know it's short wheelbase. If there's a big gap between the back of the door and the wheel, that's the long wheelbase. Simple way of just using your eyes to look at something on a picture, rather than even having to read adverts to know what the difference is. So with these, I keep reminding, like I was saying about the Transits, that if you want a heavy duty van, to do heavy duty work, like building work, all the heavy groundworks and stuff, these are not the thing for you. These are not what you need. These are just built no differently, in a way, to the equivalent Laguna or something. They're a little bit more beefed up, but they're very much just car components. You know, this stupid idea they've had for years, ABS wires running across the top of wishbone arms. This has been around since about 2002, when the very first Traffics come out. Just thought they would have improved that between 2002 and 2016, but they haven't. This looks like it's had something done with the gearbox already. Again, you know, quite a low mileage van, but they're just car engines. It's just the 1600 DCI. How can I put this right? In the older Transits, I know them engines were in the Mondeos, but them engines were built for the Transits, and then they put it in the Mondeo. These engines were built for cars, for private use, and then they put them into commercial. Don't get us wrong, if you strip these engines down for a living, there may be some very, very small differences. I actually probably don't even think there is, but that could be, let's put it that way. But really, everything, as you've seen, is just... It's good, it's not bad. They're absolutely fantastic for not rotten, I will say. They keep much, compared to a Transit, on another level for rust. Back suspension's nice and simple, easy to work on, and relatively not that expensive to replace. No stupid leaf springs like on the Transits. You know, you just got to keep an eye on the mountains up there when they get older, but the springs are pretty much nice and simple, easy unit. Same with the shockers. Nothing too much to worry about. Decent access. So yeah, all in all, not a bad van. If you're just wanting to use them, yeah, you know, fuel filter there. Still made awkward though, could just be a nice easy screw off one, but they've made it so you've got to remove the whole thing and faff on with all these little screws just to be awkward. And like this, that's sat in a lovely place, isn't it? I would say that's probably nearly the lowest point of the van. That's just going to get ripped straight off your exhaust. When you look at the gap between there, see how low that's sitting? And believe me, if you rip that off your exhaust, for a start you'll need a whole new exhaust up to the DPF. I wouldn't even like to guess the cost of one of these, Pierberg. These are your high and low pressure EGR valve for regen and recirculation, if anybody wonders. It's just a butterfly flap inside the exhaust. Naturally, if you cut the airflow off, it increases the airflow back there, causes back pressure. So that's all they do. It's just to help emissions. But yeah, they're relatively good vans, but just private use, plumbers, all that kind of stuff, paint and decorators, joiners, it's all fine for that stuff. But these ones where you see them, and again, the torque capacities on them, I see people on the caravan clubs with these things, great big twin axle caravans that they're not meant for it. And if you check the weight plates, you'll probably be able to tow the same with a Mondeo Estate as one of these. And people forget that. Just because it's a van, it's not a heavy-duty vehicle. If you want a heavy-duty vehicle, you buy a Sprinter, Crafter, Renault Master, the bigger stuff. They're your proper heavy-duty vans. These are just your lightweight, private-use sort of lightweight vans. So anyways, that's that. These 1600s are a development of the 1500 DCI, the K9Ks. They've got a timing chain. Not too bad of an engine, but you've just got to be careful because they are very needy. You've got to look after them. You can't abuse them. So that's enough with the van. That's just in for MOT. Got this in. And you know my thoughts on Audi A1s. I'm not a massive fan of them. But this being the S-Line, I quite like the colour combination, I will say. And I'm not even a big fan of red cars either. But I do like the silver roof and the nice, vibrant red paintwork. I do like it, actually, I will say. Again, the seats I like, but I'll get to that in a minute. The back end, again, they added some kind of style to these, then they stopped doing it, along the lines of some were LEDs, some weren't. This isn't, but it's probably better in the long run to own. But you'd think a top spec S-Line would have the LED package, but then again, it's probably going to cost you money in the long run. So, but these have got the funny little lights in the back, which I just want to show you. So in case anybody hasn't realised these, I'll just put the hazards on just for demonstration. When I find the button, there's music going in the car there, I'll have to turn that off. So yeah, as you can see, when I was saying they didn't have LED lights, they actually do. But they're the ones that you can't see. And then again, when you put your side lights on, they'll be on red as well. So they're like a dual light, and obviously a brake. I don't think they'll do brake lights, but yeah. And if anybody wonders why, it's because of the way they style new cars now. Every other car they seem to be able to manage to just make it so that when you open your boot, most of your lights stop on the car body. But now they've got these boots for style reasons only, wrapping round the whole back. That insignia was the same. So when you lift your boot up, if you're in traffic or you've broken down or you're in an emergency, you lift your boot up, your car's got no rear visibility, nothing. What I do find strange though is the reflector. Oh yeah, they have. That's me, my error, down there. So you've got your reflectors, but what it means is if you open your boot, you've still got visible indicators and lights. But wouldn't it not just been a whole lot better to have just styled the car properly? You would have had loads of space here and here for extra load in the boot. But no, they had to do it for design reasons to make it so that the lights wrap round. So just for a bit of style, you lose quite a lot of boot space and a whole lot more complication for lights, basically. But anyways, being the S-Line, I don't know if this two-spec roof, two-tone colour is part of the S-Line spec or an option, but I do like that, I will say. I'll give that the thumbs up to Audi. And the other thing I will give the thumbs up for, when I just switch these lights off and the radio off, is the S-Line seats. A lot of, like I've said, performance cars, nice cars, they put a nice seat in, but they never put the embossing in, and I do like that embossed under there. And even the back seats have got some kind of style to them, which is it's nice to see. I'm getting blinded by the sun here, so I'm probably limited what I can show you in the car. Let's have a look. Had to just put the doors down a bit there, guys, because I just couldn't see a thing. Right. So again, nice to see the full LED lighting in here, like what my A6 was like. And it's nice spec, this one. It's got the heated seats, tyre pressure monitor and all that kind of stuff. The sat-nav, all like the usual upgraded sound system. Nice to see cruise control. So many of these S-Line Audis come out of this era with no cruise control, which I found a little bit ridiculous. But this has got it. But yeah, I would definitely say if this is what you wanted, it's not a bad car. It's got the big digital speedo, which is definitely a thumbs up for me, which is just going to beep. So yeah, 5-speed, which is a bit odd. I did expect to see a 6-speed. This is the 1600 diesel. Unusual to be a 5-speed, not a 6. Don't know why. But yeah, again, I like these little touches. You do feel a bit more style and quality on the S-Line. I do think if any car, it doesn't matter if it's an Audi, Citroen, Peugeot, it doesn't matter what it is. I think if you're going to buy a car, especially new, or even second-hand and spend reasonable money, get a good spec one. I never understand why anybody would want to go out and buy, for example, especially premium brands like Audi, BMW, Mercedes, why you would ever want to go out and buy a bottom-of-the-range car, and spend a lot of money. So it's like, right, I'll just scrap my Mondeo with cruise control, heated seats, and all this. And then you buy a car with no cruise control, no heated seats, nothing, and just because it's newer. I could never do that. To me, even though you get a newer car, I would never downgrade on spec. Of a choice of buying. I mean, I pick up any car that comes my way. So sometimes for me, I've got to give and take. You know, it's like if I want a particular car, I've got to lose those things, like my ZX. Clearly, that hasn't got power steering, aircon, cruise control, but you wouldn't expect it, would you? So, yeah, I will say, for once, I'll give this little A1 the thumbs up. It doesn't mean I like them all, because just the normal-looking ones are pretty bland, and I do like them in 5-door spec as well. I do like to see a 5-door. I'm not keen to the 3-door. I've actually been in the back quite often of a 3-door A1, and it's very, very uncomfortable because there's no headroom. In the 5-door, it's a lot better. It's like a totally different kind of idea because I've got these little windows here, a lot more headroom. So if it was an A1 for me, it would most definitely be the 5-door, not the 3-door. I'll leave that there. All I'm going to do with this is a service. They're not too bad to do. I've got all the parts here: fuel filter, man; air filter, man; oil filter, man. I'll open the bonnet, I'll just quickly show you. There we go, it's a 1600. They're not too bad, but like I've said with that caddy van, if you don't look after them and put the right diesel and give them a good drive now and again, the injectors can play up. But in a vehicle of this size, them 1600 engines, they absolutely fly. Because they've got almost as much power as the 2 litres. Hence, I think they kind of took over the 2 litre with the 1600. It was to reduce cylinder capacity. It was all to do with the emissions and stuff like that. So yeah, not bad. Air filters, a little bit fiddly, faffy for no reason. It could just be a nice panel one, but they're a cylinder one. I'll quickly just show you. I keep remembering these things because I know this. I deal with them all the time, but I keep forgetting. People ask, they say, well, you don't show with these things. I like that, like a cylinder. So you got to put it in and they've got to get the little lugs in and spin it round. It's not by any means anywhere near as hard work as like an A6 or something or an A4, but just awkward for no reason. All it needed to be was the few little screws, lift it off, and it's a panel filter, but they aren't. But what I will say, fuel filter, nice and easy to do. And what I will be telling the guy, I think he watches my channel, that looks like it has not been changed for a while, so we'll be seeing if there's any dates. When you see rust on top of them like that, you know it's been years, not a year, like months, 12 months. So I definitely think if there's any dates on that, that's not been done in a while. And we'll see with the air filter. And the oil filter on these is... I'm hoping they've sent the right one because I was thinking it was going to be underneath and it isn't, it's there. I'm going to ring them now actually and just check they've sent the right one because I'm sure that's the same oil filter as what's in my engine on my Altea and it's got meant to have a little peg on it. So, on that note, I'll catch you soon when I've got it stripped down because I need to make a phone call just to double check. Right guys, I'm going to make this the last part of the week's vlog on Friday. We're going to go for my dinner at the cafe for about 1:30. And I'm picking my son up from school at 2:30, so there's not much to really get into film later on. And I am taking the Mercedes to the storage garage, but I'm going to do a separate little 5-minute, 10-minute video on that while I'm over there. Just show what I do when I put a car into storage, basically. So, onto the A1. Pretty much finished. Done the air filter, pain in the arse on these. And as you can see, I haven't got no replacements to, otherwise I would have done it. But these are a nightmare for the screws dropping out and somebody hasn't bothered putting the ones in at the back. I haven't got any replacements and nothing I've got would work. But it's been like that fine. But again, I always put a bit of grease on these to stop them from rusting. You've got to take the pipe off, the sensor off, There's a little sealing ring inside of the airbox that you've got to change because I like a cylinder filter. Oil filter's just self-explanatory down there. But the fuel filter, like I told you, wasn't alright. My experience, I told you, so something doesn't look right with that filter. So we'll get it out the box. It's an original Volkswagen Audi filter. 64 plate car, 2014. Late 2014, you would say. Yep. There's your Volkswagen sticker. The bottom there, 5th of the 8th, 14, which is exactly when this car would have been built. Probably registered after September 2014, because it's a 64. Therefore, build date / filter date, 5th of the 8th, 14. So, full service history with the car from... Do I say any names? I'm not saying no names, but I'm sure you guys can read. Everybody goes on about dealer history. Let's have a look what mileage the car's got on, just so you can see. 51, I don't know if you can see that, 51,000 mile. I'm sure Audi will have some BS excuse of, oh, they're not due till 50,000 or whatever, but the car is 2014, what's that, 8 years-ish, something like that, I don't know. It'll be coming up 10 years in 2024, so yeah, not far off 10-year-old. Never had a fuel filter done. And we'll wonder why the injectors go wrong on these. There's your dealer history. I was just speaking to a woman the other day. £30 she was wanting to spend. Yeah, £30 she was wanting to spend on a service plan. But she goes, but they do everything. I said, do they? Is that right? I says, well, he has proof. Hundreds of my videos. So, £30 for a year, every year, is £360. And for £360, by the looks of it, all you ever get from these dealer plans, from what I've ever seen, is an oil and filter change and a car valet, if you're lucky. They never rarely ever change iridium and platinum spark plugs. They rarely ever change fuel filters. Occasionally they'll change an air filter. They might fleece you the odd time for a pollen filter. So yeah, there's just a little bit of a life lesson on vehicles. I hate that phrase, dealer history. This car is brilliant. It's got full dealer history. For me, when I see somebody selling it in a high value car, when they say this car's got full dealer history, I actually went to look at a car, and the guy went, it's got full dealer history. I said, oh, that's a shame. And he looked at us and he went, why are you saying that? I said, dealer history is shit. I says, I want to see full documented history from an independent using correct parts, doing a full service. And a full service is an oil and filter, air filter, fuel filter, pollen filter, spark plugs if it's a petrol. That's a full service. Not a dealership stamping a book and ticking some boxes with no bill for you to look at what's been itemised. So yeah, dealer history, you shove that where the sun don't shine as far as I'm concerned. When you're talking about high value cars, it is occasionally nice to find a nice older car with dealer history where somebody still continue to take, like say, a 20-year-old Mercedes, like that one, to a Mercedes garage in Spain. And in fairness, everything I've took out of it has been genuine Mercedes, and they have been changing stuff like the spark plugs. Maybe it's different over in Spain, who knows. But yeah, dealer history, not my cup of tea. You guys tell me your experiences, I've all heard it, but let's face it, you can't argue with the facts, you can't argue with the truth. There's a 64 car, and there's the fuel filter with a 2014 stamp on it. Not been done. And I bet you if you go through the books, there's little ticky boxes saying that they've been done. Oh no, but no, it's all online now. All online nicely to just disguise the fact of the lies, isn't it? Online servicing, load of bollocks. Don't bother with it. If you have a car and you take it to a garage, make your own service book. Normally, they do away with a service book and they leave you a book saying it's a service book, but when you open it, it says go online. There'll be some blank pages in there. Just get a ruler, make a few lines, put the date, mileage, what's been done, and get the garage to stamp it. Because I'll tell you one thing, if I was spending any sum of money on a car, I would not be buying that car based on online history. It's absolute shit. So basically, make sure if you have got a car and you do get it serviced, as well as the online stuff, get it in paper form. Get the garage to just buy a book. You can go on eBay and buy any book you want, a Vauxhall one, an Audi one, a Volkswagen one, whatever, and just buy a blank book and start your own history with proper stamps and garages on there, and that is worth its weight in gold. Anyways, leaving it there, guys. I'm going to get this checked underneath. There shouldn't be too much, if anything, with it, and get the Mercedes over to the garage, and I'll start a new video on preparing that for storage over the winter. Hope you've enjoyed it. think this one might be a long one this week, but I like to talk news. I can be a bit more involved in work, but like, do you really want to see me struggling on down there in an oil filter? Once my hand's in, you can't see. So I try to just show you the interesting bits, cut the boring bits, and have a bit of banter, a bit of talking, bit of way of like kind of interaction. Because I find if you just don't talk any and you do all work, there's not a great deal to talk about because you can't see and all that. I don't know. Tell us what you would like to see more of, what you would like to see less of, but at the same time, remember, when you want to see more of something, I have got to run a business, so I can't spend an hour recording a job that should only take 15 minutes, because it does. When you're recording stuff, it takes double the time. So please, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the like if you haven't already done so. The annoying thing is, I'm noticing there's something like, say, 300 views on a video, and I'm getting like 10 likes. But I've watched the analysis. A lot of people watch them right through till the end. So if you watch it, guys, even if you're just watching it on the telly, just press the up button and you see the little like and dislike button, hit the like. If you're watching it on the phone, it's even easier again, hit the like. I assume if you're watching these, you've hit the subscribe. And if there's anything you want to say, leave the comments. But I will say, I don't always have a massive amount of time to sit doing the comments. I do get through them every few weeks, but obviously that is a bit of a delay. But like I've said, I've got my Facebook, Car Addict Garage Northeast. If you want a bit of one-to-one banter on there, it's a lot easier for us to deal with on that. It's an easier platform to use than the YouTube. But like I've kept saying, do not put it all to YouTube, because I get not to Facebook, because that doesn't benefit the channel. It's YouTube. So anyways, catch you all you guys next week. I don't know what's in the pipeline this weekend if I do any videos, but once this Mercedes is away, it's all down to the LTR. But I have got quite a few bits in store to do next week and the week after to the LTR. So I hope, sorry if you aren't interested in everything, sorry if you aren't interested in the LTR and stuff, but unfortunately that's the only car I've got on the road till I pick something else up or whatever. But we'll be going on the Mercedes next week, the ML. I may bring that back home. There might be a bit of video content for that, but we shall see. Catch you guys next week.